welcome back. And today I'm going to discuss a new topic, guarantee, which is part of special contracts under Indian Contract Act 1872. As you guys already aware, under special contract there are three sets of contracts which we are going to cover: indemnity and guarantee, bailment and pledge, agency. So in the last video we covered indemnity, and now we are going to discuss guarantee. Guarantee is dealt in section 126 to 147. Okay, as usual, before we get into a definition of a guarantee which is given in Indian Contract Act, let us see one example of a guarantee transaction, and then we will go through the definition. Okay, Mr. A wants a loan. So he is in need of money. So he needs some loan. So from where he gets loan? He gets loan. For that he has to approach bank. Take an example of State Bank of India. So he goes to a bank and asks for 20 lakhs rupees of loan. Okay, so banker says 20 lakh is big amount. I need some person who can also give a assurance that if you fail to pay the money, the other person should give some assurance. So then A goes to his friend B. He is his friend. Both are working in the same company. So then A says to Mr. B, "Boss, you give the assurance to bank that if he is not able to pay the amount, then he will repay it. B will repay it." So then in that way, B executes a contract with the bank. Okay, he gives a assurance. "Boss, don't worry, if A fails to pay the amount, then I will make a payment." That kind of assurance B gives it. Right? So the assurance what B gives to bank is called as a guarantee. Okay, the contract, right, where the other party gives a assurance or a promises to discharge the liability of a first party, then that is called as, it is a guarantee. So who is taking a loan here? A. Who is giving a loan here? Bank. But who is giving a guarantee? Some third party. Third party is giving a guarantee that if the primary person fails to pay the loan, he will take the ownership. He is going to indemnify the bank on that. Okay. So the three parties are involved in the contract of guarantee. In contract of indemnify, there are only two parties. One party who wanted to cover his loss, and the other party who gives assurance to cover the loss. Okay, but here in case of guarantee, there are three parties. One is a person who wants a loan. It is called as principal debtor. So who receives finally a loan. And the second party who grants the loan, right, he is called as creditor. And the third party here who gives a guarantee that, okay, I am going to assure you that in case of a default of Mr. A, I will make a payment. Mr. B is called as surety. Okay guys, three parties: principal debtor who takes a loan, creditor who grants a loan, and third party who gives a guarantee is called as a surety. Okay, with this small example, let's see the definition, and then I will give a real another case of example in the normal business scenarios. A contract of guarantee is a contract to perform the promise or discharge the liability of a third person in case of his default. Right? It is a promise or a discharge of the liability of a third person. B is nowhere in the contract. Here are these guys. So he is giving guarantee to bank in case this third party, in case this party A is default in paying his loan, then he will pay it. So it is an agreement between B and SBI. But against whom? If A fails to pay the amount, then B is going to give it. So this is a promise or a discharge of the liability of a third person in case of his default. Clear, guys? Okay. It is an additional security to a bank, additional assurance to a bank. Okay. So how many agreements are there in this contract? Now one contract is between A and bank. This is for loan. Correct? One contract is there for loan. Second contract is between bank and Mr. B. Bank and Mr. B. What is that contract? It is a contract of guarantee. He is giving a guarantee. And there is a third contract which is an implied contract between A and B. This is a third contract. It is an implied one. If A fails to pay the amount, then B has to pay this amount to Mr. B. Assume A fails to pay 20 lakhs, then B has to make a payment of 20 lakhs. But after making this payment, B can get this amount back from A. This is an implied agreement. It is an implied contract. Okay. So A has to indemnify B for all the payments he made to a bank because of A's default. Agreed, guys? So once B pays this 20 lakhs to SBI, he will be having right of creditors. So he can go back and collect the amount from Mr. A. So this is a whole cycle. So the three agreements, one is for actual loan transaction or a credit transaction. Second one is a guarantee between banker and the third party. And the third one is between credit debtor, principal debtor and a surety. In case if debtor defaults and then surety pays all the liability, then surety will be having rights on principal debtor to collect all the money. Okay, this is an implied agreement again. Okay, we will see the rights of surety in detail. So right now the three parties, three contracts. This is a nature of a guarantee. Okay. We will take a real business case also. Nowadays banks won't ask for a surety. This was a trend in the earlier days. If at all I go to a bank for a loan, housing loan or then vehicle loan, they used to ask for a surety. But nowadays bank is asking for a co-owner where the wife is going to be or a spouse is going to be a guarantor kind of a thing, but no actual surety will come into picture in case of a bank loans of a personal in nature. Okay, but in a business, let's take an example, real case example of a business. Okay, A is a dealer in raw materials. Okay, dealer in raw material for a manufacturing plant. So he supplies raw materials in crores. And here we have a steel company, or we say that automobile company, say like a Maruti Suzuki. Okay, which supplies lot of spare parts. Instead of raw material, we can call it as a spare parts. A, which is supplying a spare parts, say for 100 crores. Which agreed to supply 100 crores. But before supplying the goods to goods from A to Maruti Suzuki, A needs some amount of guarantee or a confirmation, right? He supplies 100 crore and then Maruti rejects it. What is the problem? That's a problem for Mr. A, right? If it's a huge consignment, especially in the international consignment, once goods crosses the border and then taking it back is a big challenge. So under all these circumstances, this vendor needs some amount of guarantee that he is going to get a money when Maruti receives this 100 crores of stock. When stock is received, this guy should get back his money. In this case, in all the big deals of a corporate where a huge amount of supply of raw material or spare parts or any parts for that matter, right, it happens. In this case, the vendor, the seller will ask for some guarantee. Some financial institutions must give a guarantee. So in this case, what happens? Maruti goes to a is bank. So they might have dealing with the SBI. Okay, it's bank, whatever bank they operate, they go to a SBI and says that, boss, I'm placing an order for 100 crore from Mr. A, and you give a guarantee to Mr. A that once we receive a goods, uh, bank will make a payment to A. Okay, it is a bank guarantee. Bank can say that, but you don't worry, once goods is received at the Maruti, then we release the payment. So bank is giving a guarantee here to Mr. A. Correct? So bank is giving a guarantee to Mr. A. Boss, you don't worry, we are there. If Maruti is not paying it, we will pay for this consignment. With this bank guarantee in hand, A will ship the material to Maruti. Once the Maruti receives it, either Maruti can pay directly to Mr. A or Maruti can pay to his bank, and then bank will transfer the amount to Mr. A. In this way, in a normal business circumstances, bank guarantee plays a very critical role. I hope you guys are clear with the concept of guarantee. Guarantee is something where a person promises to discharge the liability of a third person in case of his default, right? And there will be three contracts. One is between the principal, debtor and creditor, and the second one is between surety and creditor, and the third one is between principal, debtor and surety himself. I hope you are clear with the concept of guarantee, and we will discuss few more examples in a coming discussions. Okay, who are the parties here? One is a principal debtor who takes a loan, and also for on behalf of him the guarantee or a surety will be given by surety and the creditor. So surety is giving guarantee on behalf of principal debtor to creditor, right? So to whom the guarantees are given? The principal debtor and creditor, and surety is the one who gives the guarantee. Oh, question comes, then who is co-surety? Who is co-surety? Yes, the one beautiful concept of guarantee is, take our example back. A needs a loan and goes to bank. How much? 20 lakhs. Okay, he is looking for a loan, and then SBI agrees to give him a loan, but SBI asks for a guarantee. So A goes to Mr. B. Boss, can you give a guarantee for this 20 lakh rupees? B says, oh, I can give a guarantee up to only 10 lakh rupees. Okay, so then what A does? A goes to another friend C. Suppose I need 20 lakh urgent loan, emergency, and B is giving a guarantee for 10 lakh. Can you give a guarantee for another 10 lakh? Yes, he agrees. Okay, boss, I can give you for 10 lakhs. Okay, so then for this particular transaction, A is going to be a principal debtor and SBI is a creditor. B and C are going to be a co-sureties. Co-surety. A is also a surety. So this, okay. In this way, a guarantor can restrict its limit on a loan. Okay, whatever is giving a guarantee, for that you can restrict. So co-surety is that when the whole guarantee amount is shared between two parties, then it is called as co-surety. Clear? Principal debtor, creditor, surety, and that surety can limit his guarantee amount. So in that case, the co-surety comes into picture, the other person who shares that responsibility. So in the given example here, B and C are co-sureties for the same agreement between A and B. Clear? Okay. What are the essential things for guarantee? One is it is essentials. Valid contracts. So section 10. Every time I repeat this section 10 for you guys, to make all agreements or contract if agreements are executed with free consent. What is the next? Competent parties and lawful consideration, and then lawful object. So all these things should be a part of any guarantee. So then only it will be called as a valid guarantee. There should be free consent, there should be it should be entered between competent parties, and there should be lawful consideration and then lawful object. So important question now is, what is the consideration for a surety? In case of personal loans, right? When A and B approaches to bank, A for loan and then B gives a guarantee here. In case of this, B is going to be a surety, and surety will not get any consideration here. Correct? What is the consideration for surety here? Nothing. So because A is his friend, he is giving a guarantee to the bank. So B is not getting any consideration, but in normal common sense, right? What is the consideration for B? B is the help whatever he is making, and loan whatever A gets, right? It itself acts as a consideration for him. Okay, it is something like a gratuitous guarantee. So B is not going to get any benefit here, but whatever A gets help from a bank, that itself is acts as a consideration to Mr. B. But in case of a bank guarantee, whatever we discussed, when bank gives a guarantee to a supplier, right? And then if we have Maruti here, bank gives a guarantee, bank guarantee. Okay. In this, banks might charge some amount to Maruti. That is going to be a consideration, service charge, right? Service charge charged by banks in this case. Bank also either may charge it, or they may give based on the transaction relationship with the company. Okay. So in this is all. This is essential for any guarantee. What is the consideration for surety? Whatever the loan given by creditor to principal debtor, that itself is like it is an what is that? Like it is a gratuitous kind of a situation for surety. Okay, when does surety's liability arises? Surety's liability arises immediately when debtor makes a default. So what does it mean? A taken a loan from bank and B has given a surety, principal debtor. So bank is giving a loan here, right? So always the primary liability will be on principal debtor. Who has to pay the amount back? Principal debtor. So primary liability will always be on principal debtor. If principal debtor fails, then the secondary liability secondary liability will be on B or a guarantor. So liability of surety arises when debtor makes a default. When debtor, the primary liability is on debtor, and when debtor makes, then only the surety's liability arises. Okay. So this is what the other feature of a guarantee. It is implied indemnity. What does it mean? It is kind of an indemnity contract only, right? Three parties, A and his friend B, and then bank. Here, A and his friend, A is a principal debtor, B is surety, and bank is a creditor. He is giving a assurance here. It is a indemnity only. In case of A is not paying, I am going to pay. So somebody is assuring that we are going to make good the losses, whatever you suffered because of A. So it is an indemnity contract. And after that, if A fails to make a payment, B makes this, then B has a right and go get and go and get the amount from A. So A has to indemnify B, right? A has not paid it to bank, so B has paid it. Then he has to make he has to indemnify B for this. Whenever A gets his money back from some other parties and other thing, when he is out of his financial crisis, he has to indemnify B. So it is a implied indemnity contract. There are two sets here. One is B is giving indemnity to bank, at the same time A is also giving impliedly that he is going to indemnify B. Then comes important question, right of subrogation. What is subrogation? Subrogation. Okay, generally this term comes in an insurance contracts. A buys an insurance for car insurance, and B who hits a car of A, so B does an accident here. Okay, so then A will claim insurance from insurance company, correct? So A is going to claim insurance because of the accident. When insurance company pays all the expenses for the car, then insurance company is having a right to claim the amount from a wrongdoer. See, he should not trouble Mr. A. He has, as per the contract, he has to repay all the amounts of expenses. But insurance company will get an additional right. So they can do an action against the person who has done a wrong here, the wrongdoer, Mr. B. He can collect it. The same way, here the wrongdoer is principal debtor. So B is always having a right to go back and collect the money from A. This is called as principle of subrogation. Okay. So whenever a wrongdoer, whenever wrong happens, right, the affected party can collect the money from that. So here the wrongdoer is A. So B can go and collect the money from Mr. A because he has discharged the liability with the bank. Okay, so the surety will be having a right of subrogation. Then disclosure of fact. All the facts of this transaction between A and B, it should be disclosed to B in detail. If there is some misconception or a miscommunication on the contract, then this guarantee will become invalid. So all the facts of a contract should be disclosed to a surety. See, this guarantee agreement, as usual, any agreement and other thing, it can be oral or written. Existence of principal debt. So it all depends on the concept of guarantee comes with the existence of principal debt. Somebody has to take a loan or somebody has to buy something on a credit, then only the question of guarantee comes in. Okay, so there should be an existence of principal debt. These are the essentials and features of a guarantee. Okay, now let us see the definition, the difference between indemnity and guarantee. We discussed indemnity in the earlier video, and here we are discussing guarantee. What are the difference between these two? Okay, you guys know the section which deals with indemnity. Section 124 has given the definition for indemnity is given in section 124. The same way guarantee definition is given in section 126. What is this definition says? Indemnity says a contract by which one party promises to save the other from a loss caused to him by the conduct of the promiser himself or by the conduct of any other person. One person is giving an assurance. Because if you suffer any loss by me or by anyone, then you will be indemnified, right? So in this we will be having only two parties. Who are those two parties? Indemnifier and indemnity holder, right? Indemnifier and indemnity holder. I don't discuss much here on this. Okay, indemnifier, there are only two parties and there is only one contract between indemnifier and indemnity holder. We took an example of an insurance, right, and also a loss certificate or a loss securities. Okay, you can refer indemnity video for this. Okay, indemnity is that. Whereas guarantee is a contract to perform the promise. It is a contract to perform a promise or discharge the liability of a third person in case of his default. Somebody who fails to make a payment, so the other person takes a responsibility for it. So it is a guarantee. So as we discussed, the number of parties required for guarantee are three. Who are those? Principal debtors, creditor and surety. But here it was only two. And number of contracts, it is three. One is principal debtor with the creditor, and the second one is with creditor and surety, and the third one is surety and principal debtor. All these points we discussed, so I'm moving a little fast here. What are the objectives of indemnity? Indemnity objective is compensation of loss. Okay, if there is some loss happens to a person, then he will be compensated. But what is the objective of the guarantee? It is an additional assurance to a creditor. Already Mr. P, principal debtor agreeing to repay the loan with the terms, and he has given some securities also for that. But even then, bank needs some additional level of assurance. So the objective here is an additional assurance to a creditor. Number of contracts in case of indemnity, 1. Number of contracts in case of guarantee, 3. What is the nature of the liability here? For a indemnifier, here it is primary. Okay, nature of the liability is a primary. If any loss happens, then indemnifier has to pay it. Here in case of guarantee, the nature of liability of a surety is secondary in nature. So first, primary debtor has to repay the loan. If he fails to do that, then it comes to a secondary. So it comes to a guarantor or a surety. So the nature of liability is secondary in case of guarantee. Consideration. In indemnity, generally there is a consideration present because it is what we call like premium, whatever person pays is called as consideration, right? But in case of guarantee, there might not be no consideration for surety or sufficient consideration for surety, right? Because he is helping his friend here, or bank may helping their clients here. So there might be a no consideration, or there might be a minor amount of consideration to a surety, but In guarantee, the consideration for surety will be limited. Okay, and then we will discuss now kinds of guarantee. What are the different kinds of guarantees? This is perspective and retrospective or time based classification based on the event, the date of an event. It is called as either perspective or retrospective. And apart from that, we have another classification, specific or continuing, based on the nature. Okay, so let's see perspective and retrospective. What does it mean? Okay, we are here, July 2020. If the loan transaction which is going to happen in September 2020, loan date, loan start date, or a loan disbursement date is in September 2020. If surety gives for the loan which is going to be given on September 2020, given in September 2020, then it is called as perspective. It is for some contract which is going to happen in the future. Okay, so it is going, the loan, the transaction is going to happen in September, but now he is giving a contract sign, or it might be tomorrow also, right? It might be tomorrow also. Like anything which is happening after the signing of the guarantee document is called as a perspective. But in the some cases, loan is already given. Say loan granted on January 19 itself. In January 19, 2019 of January itself, the loan was granted. And now, a failed to, person who has taken a loan has failed to repay it. Okay, so now we want to renew his loan and then he is requesting a banker. Banker asks for a guarantee for this. Okay, we can extend the contract time for this particular loan, but we need some guarantee now. So if a guarantor or a surety signs for some agreements which happened prior to the date of the signing date, then it is called as a retrospective. It is a previous one. So guarantor or a surety is signing for some agreement which happened in before date. In case of perspective, the transaction is going to happen in a future date, so they are signing the agreement. Clear guys? Perspective and retrospective. And now specific and continuing. Specific is very simple. Person A needs loan from a bank. It's okay. You are enough of this example of a bank, right? Okay. A wants to buy some goods from store. Say for example, 65-inch TV for 2 lakh rupees. And for this, store guy says, I need some guarantee. So it is on credit, 2 lakhs on credit. Okay, then the store guy says, I need some surety. So A approaches his friend B and B gives a surety here or a guarantee. Okay, in this case, B is giving it is only for a specific purpose and a specific contract. When A pays back this amount 2 lakh rupees, then this guarantee comes to an end. No one will be having more liability on this. After 3 months, A refunds this amount to this storekeeper. Then this guarantee comes to an end. No issue at all. But in case of continuing guarantee, this is a case of specific guarantee. Okay, for one purpose, one person has given a surety for that particular transaction. After that transaction is completed, then he will be discharged from the duty of a surety. But what is a continuing thing? Okay, you might have heard overdraft facility in a bank. overdraft. Okay, so he and opens a bank account with a OD. OD means the person can withdraw more than the balance whatever is there in account. And for this, if there is a surety, B who is a surety for this transaction. Okay, on January, A withdraws 50,000. His account balance is zero, but he withdraws 50,000. In February, he refunds 50,000. In March, again he withdraws 1 lakh. Right, overdraft we can withdraw more amount based on the limit set by the bank. Then in April, he may return 75,000. So B's liability will be keep changing here. The surety's liability, right? In here it is 50,000. In February it becomes zero, but in March again it goes to 1 lakh. In April already 75,000 is paid. The 25,000 will be balanced. So it is a continuing guarantee where the guarantee is applicable for number of transactions after the signing of a guarantee. Okay, this is a very critical kind of a guarantee. Never ever give such kind of guarantee to a people, so he will be in a loop. Okay, it will be continuing till B is going to say that stop it, I'm exiting from this particular contract, and then we will see how to discharge the continuing guarantee in the next slide. So this is a continuing guarantee, example of continuing guarantee here. So one guarantee will be applicable for multiple future transactions in a continuing guarantee, but in a specific guarantee it is just specific for a person, one specific transaction. Okay, so how can we revoke the continuing guarantee? See, we know, right, continuing guarantee which extends to the series of transaction. OD, here 50,000, and then again 50,000 is repaid, then again 1 lakh taken, and then 75,000 again returned. So in this case, a guarantor or a surety can exit from this continuing guarantee by giving a notice. By giving a notice to both the parties, to the person who principal debtor and the creditor, I am exiting from this particular continuing guarantee. Can he do that? See, he has given a guarantee. Take for example here, 1 lakh loan already, 1 lakh OD is already done here from the bank. Can he exit after this? No. He can exit, guarantee or a surety can exit whenever this 1 lakh is returned by principal debtor. So in this particular scale, where can guarantor can exit? At this point, guarantor can exit, because principal debtor took a loan of 50,000 and already returned it. There is no liability. The liability in February is zero, correct? So in this case, surety can exit by giving a notice, but not the third installment, like where principal debtor takes another 1 lakh, so he will not be able to exit. He can exit by repaying this 1 lakh. Otherwise, he has to wait for the completion. Okay, in April he paid 75,000 and another 25,000. This guy can keep, surety can pay it and exit in April. Otherwise, he has to wait for this 25,000 to be paid by. Whenever it comes to zero, then surety can exit from the continuing guarantee. Clear, guys? So whenever there is zero liability on that transaction, otherwise he is ready to discharge the liability and then exit. So by notice he can do it. Otherwise, by death of a surety. Okay, by death of a surety, so it can be, he will be exited from that guarantee. But in a case of RK Devan versus State of UP, it was held that if it is a continuous guarantee, then it passes to a legal heirs of a deceased party. His sons, his next years, like his successors are going to be held liable for continuous guarantee. Okay, but the limit of that the guarantee is also again depends on the ratio of a property, whatever the heirs got it, right. If there are two sons and one daughter, then three parties will get a share in that: son 1, son 2 and daughter 1, and all the three has to bear the continuous guarantee liability. That's what held in RK Devan versus State of MP. Once the liability is discharged, using other modes of a discharge of guarantee, the continuous guarantee can be discharged. What are the other modes? We will discuss later. Okay, but important is continuous guarantee can be revoked only when there is a zero liability or sureties agree to discharge the liability exist on that particular date. Okay, if you want to exit in February, yes, because there is a zero liability. If he wants to exit in April, then the liability is 25,000. He has to discharge this liability and then only he can exit. Discussed what is guarantee, parties to guarantee, and all other types of guarantee details. And now let us see nature and extent of surety's liability. What is the nature of surety's liability? All these points we discussed earlier. Just I'm putting it in a systematic way here at one place. What is the nature of surety's liability? It is a secondary in nature. As you guys know, A and B friends. A needs a loan from bank, so B is giving a surety here. So what is the nature of B's liability here? It is a secondary in nature. What it means? First, bank has to approach A for a repayment. If A fails to repay, then B is liable. So this is a secondary in nature. The liability of surety is a secondary in nature and contingent. Of course, it is not certain. Normally A pays it. It is a contingent, or it is a depends upon A not paying the debt. A not paying the debt, then only B is liable for it. So if A is not paying, then B is liable. So it is a contingent. It is a contingent contract, right? So surety's liability is like a contingent contract. Surety may limit his liability. Surety may limit his liability. What does it mean? If loan is for 20 lakhs, while giving surety, B can say, I can provide guarantee only for 10 lakh or 5 lakhs, whatever is his capacity. For that he can give a surety, and then A has to find out other sureties. In that case, this kind of sureties are called as co-surety. So there might be a B, C and D. A is giving it for 10 lakhs, C is giving for 5 lakhs, and D is giving for another 5 lakhs. So totally 3 guys are co-sureties, and 10 lakh, 5 lakh and 5 lakh is their liability. So surety may limit his liability. Liability in case of continuing guarantee. In case of continuing guarantee, where it starts from here and all the transactions, subsequent transactions, surety is going to be liable. If a person takes a loan 50,000 today and then another 25,000, the surety liability goes to 75k, and then another 50,000 here, then it goes to 1.25k. If he repays 1 lakh, then balance 25k is surety's liability. So it keeps changing in case of continuing guarantee. In case of specific guarantee, it is fixed. Most important point with respect to surety's liability is, even in case of void agreement also, surety is liable. Agreement is void, but surety will be liable for that. For example, if surety gives a surety for a minor. Agreement is void. So minor is here and banker is here. Minor need 10 lakh rupees. Banks gives some money to them. Bank gives some money to minor. Then it is a void contract because minor is not a competent to a bank contracts. Right? Minor is not a competent to contract. If someone, Mr. A, he gives a surety for this transaction. In this case, A will be liable and minor is not liable at all. So you should be very careful when giving a guarantee. For giving guarantee to a minor is you will become a primary liability person. Okay, primary liable for repayment of a loan. So even in case of void, surety is still liable. Clear? Okay. What are the rights of surety? Right of surety, subrogation. Right of subrogation. What is it? We already discussed. Right of subrogation means a person can take an action against. Person can take. I'll write it. Insurer. Okay. Can take action against wrongdoer. Okay, what is subrogation? A insurer can take action against wrongdoer. See, as we discussed, A and B and bank. So bank granted loan here and B given a surety. Now A defaults the payment. So B is liable for it now. Once B pays the amount back to a bank, 2 lakh rupees, now B is having all the rights. Okay, he can take any action against A, any legal action against A. So B will turn into a creditor's role now. From surety, he becomes creditor. Clear, guys? So he can take action against this wrongdoer. Who is a wrongdoer here? Who is a defaulter? A. So now B becomes creditor and he can take the action. So that is called right of subrogation. So banker is released here. Banker got his money from surety. So surety can take the action of this. Right of indemnity. A and B. A defaulted the payment. So now B's right of indemnity. It means it is a duty of A to indemnify B. It means A is a indemnifier here and E is a indemnity, B is a indemnity holder. Okay, so by default it is, that's why this contract is a implied indemnity. Though there is no contract of indemnity in this, so it is a implied indemnity. By default, once B pays the liability of a A to bank, then B is going to be a indemnity holder and A becomes indemnifier. So B can exercise right of indemnity. Means he can ask A to repay back the loan amount. Right to claim securities. Okay. In the case of A and A took a loan, right? While taking a loan of 2 lakhs, A might have kept security of 50 grams gold. Okay, 50 grams gold as a security. So it is a right for B now. When B pays back this 2 lakh rupees, he can take back whatever the security is given by bank. Sorry, whatever the security was given by A to bank, he can take all the securities. So right to claim all the securities. Right against co-securities. Okay, if the 2 lakh, it was shared by B 50,000, C another 50,000 and D 1 lakh. So he is liable only for 50,000 and he can ask other sureties to pay. He is having right to ask other sureties to pay remaining balance. So this is a right against co-sureties. Right to request. Right to request is something before bank coming to B for a claim, he can request to bank that, boss, please raise a complaint. court case or sue Mr. A. Try all the options and then come to me for claiming. So he can request for this. This is the right. Okay. So banker goes to A, and if A says I'm not going to pay it, then they go and trouble B. No, that is not the case. B can request that finish all the legal obligations, legal options. Sorry, not obligations, legal options, and then they can come to B for a settlement. So he is having the right to request for that. 5 important rights: right of subrogation, right of indemnity, right to claim securities, right against co-securities, and right to request. These are the 5 rights of surety. The last topic under last point which we are going to discuss under guarantee is discharge of a surety. When the surety will be get discharged from his responsibility by revocation. Okay, so the first way is by revocation. Okay, as we know, there are 2 kinds of guarantees. One is for specific and then one is continuous. Can a surety in case of specific guarantee revocate it or cancel it? No. In case of specific guarantee where he has given a surety for a specific transaction, revocation is not possible. Only in case of continuous guarantee. Continuous guarantee means it is continuous for multiple transactions. Like example, we discussed OD. Okay. So for any transactions, right? In this case, he can revoke. He can revoke or he can cancel the surety, but he should discharge the liability up to that point. This point we discussed in earlier section of this video. So we go back and see this continuous guarantee definition. So in this continuation guarantee, he can withdraw, surety can withdraw at certain point whenever there is no liability, when there is a zero liability, or if there is a liability that should be discharged, then only surety can be discharged by his responsibility. So by giving revocation notice, surety can come out of the liability for all future transactions anytime. Okay, and then by death of a surety, if there is a death of a surety, then the contract or a guarantee will come to an end. But in certain cases it may transfer to his heirs also, but otherwise it comes to an end at the death of a surety. And then by variations in the terms, if there is some variations in the contractual terms, see, for example, while giving a surety it was 65-inch TV, and now they changed the terms and they made it in a 100-inch TV. Okay, if any changes turn to a contract without the notice of the surety, then surety is discharged from his job, his liability. Okay, so surety is not liable for that transaction. By conduct of the creditor, if creditor says that okay, by conduct of the creditor, if creditor does some activity, if any creditor does some activity which is against the act or against the agreement, then the surety's liability will be discharged. Okay, if any creditor does some action, activity which is inconsistent with the right of the surety, right, or he omits to do any act which is his duty to do the act according to the surety. So in all these cases, the surety will be get discharged. Release or discharge by a debtor. Okay, debtor comes and says that, boss, I don't want surety, you can I don't need it and I will repay the debt and you can exit from that. So based on the discussion with the debtor, the surety can be discharged from his liability. And then compounding with principal debtor. If creditor and debtors come together and they agree that okay, we don't need surety for this and we are renewing this contract with a new contract document, in that case the surety liability will be discharged. And by loss of security, for taking a loan, the principal debtor might have kept some security. If creditor loses those securities, then the liability of a surety is also discharged. Invalidation of a contract or a misrepresentation. If a surety, the sign or a guarantee is taken with some misrepresentation of a facts, in that case, see the concept of free consent, right? If it is free consent, there should not be any fraud, misrepresentation or anything, right? If there is no free consent, then the liability of a surety will be ending. And then by novation. So novation means cancelling the current liabilities, current agreement, and then creating a new agreement. In all these cases, the surety's liability will be cancelled, or surety will be exits from his liability, exits from the contract of guarantee. Okay, by revocation, by death, by variations in the terms without the knowledge of a surety, and by conduct of the creditor. And then if a debtor releases him by repaying all the loan, or if creditor and debtors comes together and then they do a new agreement and they release the surety, or if a creditor loses the security of the documents, and then if there is an agreement, like if there is a consent taken by misrepresentation of facts, and then in case that also the surety is discharged from a liability. And then by novation. Novation means new agreement. Okay guys, that's it on a guarantee. So we discussed definition of guarantee, features and essentials, okay, and then kinds of guarantee, and then continuous guarantee in detail, and then rights of surety, nature of surety's liability, and finally we have ended our discussion with discharge of surety. Okay, so that's it guys. Thank you very much for listening. So please don't forget to subscribe Aparva Media channel. Thank you very much.